I think in November 2019, there was this case in the US involving an app developer called 643 LLC, which also made what is now infamously called as the Pekingese app. This was a creepy app, an iPhone app that would basically automatically scan swimsuit pictures on Facebook. So that is obviously the source of all the documents. So NBC News, which is obviously an American media giant, they put out all the documents in the public domain. There is public interest in knowing how Facebook goes about its quote unquote public policy operations in India, which is a softer term for lobbying. So I think that is very important, and it provides much required context to what has happened with the Wall Street Journal story, simply based on the memos that they had, that they has been a part of this document dump. It's very easy to identify how they did it. And this is typically how quote unquote public policy is done in India, where they meet government officials, where they meet where they meet ministers. In this case, obviously, there were certain policies that they were looking at specifically based, for example, the privacy law in 2000, I think the 12-13. They were also looking at the intermediary rules. So a lot of things. They were obviously looking on at a lot of these things. So they obviously engaged with government, think tanks, industry groups to get their perspectives. What I can also tell you is that internet.org, which was earlier Free Basic, was probably one of their biggest policy pain points in India, and that came around this government. I'm also beginning to get a sense, at least based on conversations with multiple people, that after the Cambridge Analytica expose at a global level, all governments, not just the Indian government or not just the Modi government, are substantially wary of technology companies. Yes, they do the engagements. They have to engage where they have to engage, but I think the global narrative around these platforms has been something which is seen from a skeptical lens. Obviously, there is a greater emphasis on specific issues. For example, they've been looking at data protection. They've been looking at the privacy bill. They've been looking at a lot of things. So that, I think, is an extension of what a good public policy team does. And to Anki's credit, I think she has built one of the most robust public policy teams in India right now, which obviously draws in on her experience at Microsoft, which she left in 2011 to join Facebook. So Anki has been a very significant part of how Facebook has been in India, number one, simply because I think we have to look at Facebook more as a quote-unquote user-based market, not so much a revenue market. Although Facebook has started earning revenue and showing signs that that there is potential in this market over the last 2-3 years for sure. It is still a large user-based market in the sense that it's a 300 million user-based market for the Blue app, what they call the social network. You have over 400 million users on WhatsApp, and obviously one of their fastest growing apps right now is Instagram. And all of this needs management. I mean, user-based management is something that is very important. And I think Anki, which is why I believe Anki is also very powerful right now, because in that sense, she obviously gets to interact with the government on a daily basis, or any bureaucrats, or even civil society for that matter, or even media for that matter. And basically, try and sort of engage with them to push Facebook's agenda, which is what exactly these public policy professionals do. It would be an understatement to say that she's been very successful, and she has been very successful in the last 8 years. I mean, she has obviously nursed Facebook through the ages in terms of navigating, if I could say, the thorny tech policy issues that come up. She was already in the thick of the action when some of the more interesting legislations or interesting policies around the technology were shaped by the previous government. Basically, one of the things we learned from a July 2012 document is that Facebook reached out to Kapil Sibal, who was then the communications and IT minister, in a week of quote unquote extensive outreach. And I'm quoting from the from the document now. Quote: Minister Sibal is holding a closed door meeting on August 2 with MPs, following up on his parliamentary assurance of reviewing language in the rules which negatively impact freedom of expression and are inconsistent with constitutional guarantees of freedoms of free speech, of fundamental rights of free speech. Uh, it also further states that Facebook reached out to target MPs from opposition parties expected to attend this meeting, the closed door meeting that that Sibal was holding, and re-emphasized the list of concerns. So Facebook also informally met Dr. Rai, which is also Dr. Gulshan Rai, and Sibal to understand their goals and suggested a constructive approach for the meeting. So Facebook says this: the meeting with MPs will be led by Sibal, and we can expect him to try and play a victim role and gain sympathy from the MPs, saying that the US Intermediaries Court don't comply with local laws. So this is something that Facebook has put out. The lady who wrote the memo has put out, presumably based on inputs from the India team. Anki has advised MPs that the matter is sub judice in various courts of India, and they should make that point with the minister and reorient the discussion with the substantive issues in the rules. And it also says that representatives from industry associations like IAMAI, CII, and NASSCOM have been invited to this meeting to provide comments. We, along with Google and Yahoo's local policy leads, have worked with them on talking points, which is basically they work. So Facebook, Google, and Yahoo have worked with these industry associations on talking points. So Facebook also finished drafting a letter that Jaitley, that the late Arun Jaitley, who was then the leader of the opposition in the Rajya Sabha, could use on intermediary rules. And obviously they've also said that CIS, which is a leading think tank working on internet policy and technology policy, has been organizing various speech NGOs to agitate against the intermediary rules. CIS recently published a detailed analysis of the legality of the rules, or calling them unconstitutional on various grounds. This was published as an open white paper and sent to MP Sibal, Dr. Rai, and the Prime Minister's office. CIS will continue to keep the public opinion pressure and keep organizing that. So this is something about the intermediary rules as stated in the memo.